This lesson is an introduction to image term for 3.0. First, I'm going to explain a little bit about the keyboard and how WinVice differs from the Commodore 64 keyboard. And then we'll load up image term and go into the terminal options menu, and I'll explain a little bit about what the options do. So I'm sitting here at the idle screen and I want to know how to get into image term. So if I hit the question mark, I see that the left arrow key is how to get into image term. Well, that's easy on the Commodore 64 keyboard, but how do we do it in ImageVice? Let's click on Settings and bring up the keyboard settings, and notice that there are two settings that we can use: Symbolic and Positional. In Symbolic keyboard mapping, the Commodore left arrow key is mapped to the end key on the PC keyboard. In Positional keyboard mapping, the PC keyboard is mapped more like the Commodore keyboard. So the left arrow key would be the key on the left side of the number 1, just like it is on the Commodore keypad. Two other keys that are used a lot in image term are the Commodore key and the Control key. And in both the Positional and the Symbolic key set, those two keys relate to the Control and Tab keys on the PC keyboard. So I just hit the left arrow key on my PC keyboard, which is the key next to the number 1 key, and I just loaded up image term. This is the main menu while you're in image term. It's where everything is controlled from. Let's first hit the number 2 key to go into the DOS options. From here you can send a disk command, view the disk directory, read or view a file, set the device drive, or return back to the terminal menu. It's pretty self-explanatory, but just watch along as I perform some of the functions. I just sent a DOS command to the drive to get the status. Number 3 on this menu will allow you to read sequential files. It's supposed to be able to read program files too, but I've never been able to get that to work. Setting the device and drive number is setting the location of where you're going to use for file transfers for uploads and downloads. So for this session I'm going to use device 9,0, and if I look at the directory, it's got nothing in it, so I can use that for downloading. Hitting return just takes you back to the terminal menu, and now we look at parameters options. You can set your translation to PET ASCII, ASCII, or ANSI. We're going to use PET ASCII. Number 2, you can choose Commodore graphics or IBM graphics. Item 3 allows you to choose the protocol. Transferring between Commodore boards, my preference is punter protocol. Item 4, you can set the baud rate. Sometimes the faster baud rates work, among the Commodore boards, and sometimes you have to set it to a lower baud rate in order to maintain sync. So that's what the purpose of being able to set the baud rate for is. The information text on the screen about changing the baud rate applies if you're using real hardware. But I found out that if you're using image device, whether you're using TCP/SIR or BBS server, that you can change the baud rate in image term and not have to change the baud rate in your virtual modem. Apparently they automatically adjust to whatever baud rate image is sending it. Item 5 will toggle between pulse and tone. I don't know why we use pulse. Tone seems to work the best. Number 6, you can toggle between line feeds off and line feeds on in case you need to, depending on what board you're calling. Number 7 is the function keys, but like I said in a previous lesson, until we get an update on the ML, these keys don't work, so you can just leave this option alone. And then hitting return should go back to the main terminal options menu. Next, let's look at the phone book. Here you're allowed to enter up to 20 different pre-dial phone numbers. So in order to use these, you have to have a translation table that translates phone numbers to BBS telnet addresses. I like to use BBS server because it provides a 20 phone number entry phone book. You can do phone number translation in TCP/SIR as well, but it's a lot more primitive. So right now I'm entering a BBS phone number for the wrong number 4, which has a translation in my BBS server that I'm using for this demonstration. I'm going to save this file and go back to the terminal options. So the rest of the options, you got number 6 for upload, 7 for download, 8 for multi-upload, 9 for multi-download, and 0 will return to the BBS. What it does is if you enter 0, it exits out of image term and goes back to the call waiting screen. We use the number 1 key to go into image term. In order to turn on echo, type ATE1 and you should see an OK return to the screen. So notice we're in terminal mode using PET ASCII, and it says at the top of the screen, use the Commodore plus Control keys in combination to exit. So in the terminal mode, we can enter ATDT and the telnet address of the BBS that we want to call. Right now I'm going to call my board at Commodore Image 2. So we connected at 19200 and notice that we're online at Commodore Image 2. All I'm going to do here is do a mail check and exit. Okay, so that'll disconnect us and I'm back at the terminal mode. So let's hit the Commodore control key combination and go into the phone book. and enter 1 to call into wrong number 4. It'll ask if you want to auto dial. Just hit return and it connects. I'm going to go through the login process using the normal login. Well, I see Bucko's got his holiday graphics up and running. So after entering my login ID and password, logs me into the board. He's running in Super CPU mode also, so this board's going to be pretty fast. I'm going to go through the news files now. Play Super Lotto. Take 10 quick picks. And that brings me to the graphic menu. Log on screen. Take a look at the graffiti wall. Wow, and that wall is so fast, couldn't read it. I keep telling Bucko he needs to put a pause in between the messages on that wall. So I've got mail, but I'm not going to read it on this call. I'm just going to go into the UD section and show you what a download looks like. Find a board that's got some files on it. I'm going to do a scan on this board, see what files he's got in there, and let me pick a few to download. I'm going to do a multi-download by entering the DM command. Start at number 45, pick about 3 of these. Demonstrate how two image 3.0 boards running at 38.4 can download between each other. Okay, in order to go into download mode, I have to hit the Commodore Control key and select number 9 to initiate a multi-download, and then we're waiting for the board at WN4 to begin sending. And as soon as it does, you'll see that the screen will change to a download screen. It tells me I'm receiving that program file. It's being saved to device 9, drive 0, and my protocol is punter. And it'll do the same thing on the next 2 files when they're ready to be sent, so just watch. Okay, now the wrong number 4 board is sending the next file. You can see it coming in at the top of the screen. Alright, so we're going to end this video right here. I guess my Loom account that I'm using as a free trial must have cut me off at 15 minutes because the rest of the download is missing from the end of my recording. But I think this video should give you enough information to be able to use image term. And thanks for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next video.